Enhancing and extending the economics course. This instructional module is organized by unit. Projects that encompass elements of multiple standards are listed as summary projects. Here is the table of contents. Summary projects follow. I began the policymaking project during the first week of school by giving students these notes and discussing how they can use these steps to improve their decision making. I explained that this is another example of marginal analysis. Our school requires that we have a final assessment during the final exam days. I used this for that purpose since our final was the EOC given a few weeks earlier, and to integrate the economics course with their other high school coursework. This is an attempt to apply the economic principles to other content knowledge in order to problem solve real-world issues. Here is the first part of the rubric that I use for the policymaking project. Here is the second part of the rubric that I use for the policymaking project. Depending upon when our senior finals are, we sometimes have presentations and sometimes do not. When they do present, I have them detail the problem, then describe their solution, how it will address the issue, and evaluate their solution. One note, students need to be specific on problem identification. Saying that poverty is a problem is too general to then develop proposed solutions. So perhaps they should say poverty in Georgia, poverty in their locality, instead of just saying poverty. Review songs and poems. Students take existing songs and change the lyrics to reflect our current unit vocabulary and concepts. I have steered them away from games as most are simplistic. The goal with this project is to have students synthesize their knowledge and apply it to the world around them. If students correctly incorporate 90% of the unit vocabulary and concepts in an easy-to-understand manner, they are eligible for a letter grade boost on their test score. If they do 50% of the vocabulary, then half a letter grade, and so forth. Just listing vocabulary and definitions is not what is intended here. Here are cartoons. The two on the left are booklets telling the story of Market Man, and Volume 2 is Market Man and his trusty sidekick Antitrust Boy. Here are two poems. Here's another cartoon and a bad economy parody of Yellow Submarine. Some of the best songs include American Pie, that is, Bye Bye Opportunity Cost, and Ain't No Mountain High Enough became Ain't No Peak High Enough. Some games that were not simplistic. The two on the left had cards with higher level questions, while the one on the right was for the supply and demand unit. For the supply and demand game, there are chopsticks along the left edge of the board that were used to create a corresponding graph to the card you drew. Created by Professor Kim Holder from the University of West Georgia, Rockonomics is a contest for college and high school students. Take a song, rewrite it substantially with economics lyrics, and film a music video. Other contests include the Stock Market Game, Econ Challenge, and the Personal Finance Challenge, all sponsored by the Georgia Council on Economic Education. The H&R Block Budget Challenge was a source of discussion all semester for many students and their parents. It presents real-world situations to students throughout the simulation, prompting much discussion with parents and teachers. Other assignments include reading additional economic books and attending a public meeting or watching it online. Then, choose an issue from their agenda and apply the problem-solving policy analysis model to it, essentially becoming a policymaker for your local government. Books and videos for teachers and students. Most of these titles are self-explanatory, but Scroogenomics explains the problem of gift giving when the giver does not value the gift to the same degree as the receiver. There is also a shorter article from the same author. Comparative economics. You might want to assign this either to evaluate different economic systems or during the International Economics unit. You will get a more sophisticated analysis if you wait until after you have taught macroeconomics. Books for teachers. There are several journals whose sole focus is teaching economics. The Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta has several online journals on how to teach macroeconomics topics as well as personal finance. Programs for teachers. Workshops, journals, online courses, and guest speakers galore. It's great to be a Georgia teacher. Fundamentals Unit. Entrepreneurship. This movie and associated lesson plans from Georgia Council on Economic Education are fabulous. Also, take advantage of any factory tours sponsored by GCEE. You can tour many factories on your own. Just contact them to inquire. This gives you a much better understanding of the production process. I am very fortunate to teach in a very diverse school system. We have students whose parents grew up in Nigeria, Venezuela, etc. Their stories of life in those countries is fascinating. It's not always what gets published. The microeconomics unit. I have students conduct an interview with a producer. They may interview anyone who has run their own business, or a manager that makes the cost decisions for the firm, or someone they know that has ever done either of those. I encourage them to start with family and friends in order to build knowledge of a family history if applicable. Here are the remaining questions of the producer interview. The day students are to turn in the producer interview, I have them complete this part in class, so I can help those who interviewed mom and pop businesses find an equivalent one to research. This helps students understand the difficulties that producers face. Our students have been consumers most of their lives, albeit not with their own money. This gives them experience with producers. Microbooks. Pencil, and parts 1 and 2 of the Travels of a T-shirt book detail the production process. The world that trade created has short chapters explaining the origin of many modern-day economic practices. Macroeconomics. For the Congressional Budget Simulation, see Instructional Module GA-DOE Economics SSEMA 3 Parts 1 and 2 for the brief and extended versions. Macro books. There are so many. This is a great one to start with that describes the Great Recession and details other economic crises worldwide. International Economics. International Trade Books. Travels of a T-shirt goes from Texas to China, back to the United States, and then to Africa, as the cotton for the T-shirt is grown, sewn, sold, and finally donated to the resale market. It details the production processes, the trade agreements, and the influence of job opportunities on the standard of living in a country. The Personal Finance Unit. The H&R Block Budget Challenge presents students with real-life issues and dilemmas, causing discussion with both parents and teachers. EverFi is an online series of 9 modules that teaches students about the personal finance standards, including one on college. The Game of Life is what some teachers have developed, where students draw cards for occupations. Then they have to make real-life decisions that fit within that income, such as where to live, how to commute, personal hygiene decisions, college, families, etc. Econ Lowdown has wonderful podcasting courses on many personal finance topics, including college and financial aid. Many of these are available in Spanish. This is what I use during snow days. Of course, students must have the login information beforehand. Clark Howard and Dave Ramsey have many books plus online resources that students find very helpful. Last but not least, if your school teaches a financial literacy course either through the CTAE or Social Studies Department, find out what that teacher does and share resources. Perhaps attend a workshop together. Enjoy teaching personal finance. Besides learning this on their own, it may be the last formalized instruction that the student receives on this topic. Sources. All sources were listed on each page, and books can be found by searching the titles. All instructional labs can be found on the DOE website. As you adapt these ideas and those of your own, please share with others through your Georgia Council for the Social Studies Annual Conference or its journal, or in other ways, but please share your ideas so other students will benefit. That's what we're here for, to help the students in Georgia learn economics. Thank you.